the shadows, like an army in the night. Lock the doors and board the windows. Oh, oh, a storm is coming that you can't escape. Tears are falling like blood and rain.
This will be the biggest Arctic outbreak so far this winter. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I don't want to waste your time, so let's get right to it. This here, I want you to keep an eye on this, right? This here is the Arctic air, this coloring right in here, some of that kind of gray and blue shading. Look what happens as we go out in time. Just follow that. A couple systems help that come down throughout much of Canada into the U.S. at times, but look what happens with the bigger system that will eventually be moving in. Watch this. As we work our way in, this is next weekend into even further, 10 days out in time. Look at that surge right there. That is the Arctic air. Look how far south it gets, right near Tennessee and Kentucky, to give you an idea. And that means we get a push of some chillier air even down into the Caribbean. This big Arctic blast is on the way with an even bigger system. So I want to show you that. There's one system moving by now, but there is a bigger cold front that is going to allow this plunge to move down in about 8 to 10 days. I like to show you what's next, kind of look ahead at what we have coming on. It has been a very active January, and it will continue to be the case. Now, we have one spin off the Atlantic region of Canada right now, just waiting on some of the fronts in the Caribbean, and then we have this. This is the system we have been tracking this week, the tail end of it back into Mexico, and you see here, look at that moisture just kind of getting pulled into this right across Mexico, Gulf of Mexico, into the southeast United States. And you see it here with the snow and the rain. Let me zoom down for you in a second. Here's the system here, and let's zoom down into this. Now, the white shading on the map would be snow, and look how far south some of this snow is. On the back side of this area, that colder air moving in. Now, these pink shadings you're seeing here, that would be a mix, either some sleet or some rain and snow mixed together. But on the north side, even parts of Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and then northern Arkansas, getting some of the snow backside, some of the snow that's been pulling through parts of the Dallas area, tail end of the front, all the way back through Texas into Mexico. The yellow shading in here, that's some heavier pockets, right? Not expecting a severe threat out of this, but watching out for some icing and some snow moving from Arkansas right into Tennessee, and as expected, as we've been talking about, northern sections of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, at least a mix, if not some snow, to show you how far south these systems are getting. So the tail end of it right through here, out ahead of it, more of that southerly flow. That'll give us some scattered showers across the Caribbean for today. But I want to show you the fronts that will be dipping down all the way down to the south. So let's get back to this bigger picture, track the system now, but that bigger one that will be coming next. So here is today's storm system with some of that snow that I showed you in that front all the way down to the south. There is an old front, the Atlantic region of Canada, pressing to the east of Bermuda, down into the Caribbean. I'll zoom down into the Caribbean for us in a second. I want to show you kind of the tail end of the front in this next one on the way. Now, by tomorrow morning, there may be some snow that kind of scrapes by the mid-Atlantic of the United States and parts of New England just with the colder air, but look at that front all the way down toward the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico as this rain works across, kind of scraping by parts of Florida into the Bahamas. This here is by tomorrow afternoon. It will build offshore. I'll zoom down into some of these areas in just a second. Now, this spin off into the Atlantic as we work our way into Sunday. Now, let's go out in time further. I showed you that Arctic blast that moves down. Here's why. This is what we're waiting on. Now, as we get into the middle of next week, so getting out in time here, look at that rain building across parts of the Gulf of Mexico. So I'll be tracking that as we get into next week together. But that's going to kind of sit there. You need this little energy to work in from Canada and the Pacific Northwest. And once we get a system here that kind of works across, that will allow that moisture to once again kind of lift to the north. And you see it here. This is by next weekend. You see some of that snow that is around, some of that rain that's draped all the way down. This is the bigger system. This is the one that allows that Arctic air to push in. So going out in time here even further as we get into next weekend, it will be busy tracking this front. This is by the time we get into Sunday, and you see it here stretching all the way from eastern Canada, all the way down to the south, that much colder air scraping in right back behind it. This allows that colder air to plunge to the south, and you see just how far south it gets. Let's go out in time here just another day as we work our way again we're talking 10 days from now, so there'll be some changes as we know, no doubt, but you see how far south that gets, clearing much of the Bahamas back into Cuba and Jamaica, the Arctic air just to the north, but we will get some of that chillier weather moving in for more of us in the Caribbean once we get into about 9 to 11 days from now. So a bigger system that will be nearby. Now, getting back to today's system, that snow cover, we are going to see a little bit of that, even the rain now this morning, changing over to some snow. So watching out for that snow potential. I mentioned parts of the southeast United States. I'd like to bring that up too. That just shows you how far south this cold air has been getting. No doubt we've seen these southern systems that have been around this month. Now, the tail end of a front is sitting back near Anguilla, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, it's not doing a whole lot, right? It's kind of falling apart. It's the very tail end of the front, but a little change in the wind directions back toward Puerto Rico. If you have some cooler weather this morning, let me know. I'll be watching the comments. Now, here's that next system that will be moving in, the one that is bringing the snow just to the north. As we work our way through the weekend, that just kind of dives in. It will be weakening. It's just the tail end of it, but we'll have that front right through the Bahamas, Cuba, near the Cayman Islands, and Belize. So we will get some cooler nights, in particular tomorrow night, and then again, as we work our way into Sunday night, there's the tail end of a front that may bring us a shower. Guadeloupe, Dominica, St. Lucia, Barbados. Then by Sunday, that front kind of washes out. By what I mean by that is it kind of weakens, but that front will be near the Turks and Caicos, Haiti, and Jamaica. So slightly cooler air as we work our way into Sunday morning this year by Sunday afternoon, but still watching out for a spotty shower too. Antigua and Barbuda back towards St. Vincent the Grenadines, and another little pocket of rain near Trinidad and Tobago back really into Guyana as we work our way into Sunday. So there'll be a few areas to watch. Now let's swing to the north. Here's the Atlantic region of Canada. You get back toward New England, Cape Cod, a few snow showers near the Avalon Peninsula today. Watching out as this front has pressed by, just Bermuda, it's been very active with windy weather, periods of rain at times. And here's that snow from southern Quebec back toward the Great Lakes on the north side of the system. And then this system pulls offshore of Cape Cod as we work our way into tomorrow afternoon. There's the trailing front with it, and another shot of rain trying to move into Bermuda. Now for the Atlantic region of Canada, most of this will be just off toward the south and southeast of Nova Scotia in Newfoundland. I'll keep an eye on it to see if any of this builds up to the north. But of course, the seas are going to be an absolute mess. And here's a look at that as this system moves by. Rougher conditions in the Gulf of Mexico today with that front moving by. We're looking at about 2 to 2.5 meters, so about 7 to 9 feet on the right-hand side of your screen. As that front moves in tomorrow, you see again, Gulf of Mexico, Atlantic waters, very rough conditions, Atlantic passageways coming out of the Caribbean. Please be mindful. Those seas are going to be very high. Bit of a chop as we get into the south central sections of the Caribbean as we work our way to Sunday. But near Bermuda, of course, very high and dangerous seas. Not much in the way of rain because as this front moves in, it will be weakening. So Freeport all the way down through the Turks and Caicos, we're not looking at a lot of rain. We may get brushed by a shower. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, over toward the Dominican Republic, but the rain chance not too high. Small chance of a shower. Puerto Rico, U.S. British Virgin Islands, around the Horn, back through Antigua, Barbuda. That's with that tail end of a front. But we could see a couple more possible. Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, St. Lucia, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe a shower or two, but a little bit more Guyana and Suriname. That's that pocket that I circled a minute ago. We may get some spots around 10 to 25 millimeters of rain, maybe about half of an inch of rain if you get some showers. And watching out for some spotty showers. Same thing as far as totals go in parts of Central America, but not as much in the rain bucket. And of course, watching all of this moisture, be it snow or be it rain, that will be sliding by to the north with that front moving in. So you see as we go throughout the weekend, the rain chance not too high, very isolated. 20-30% chance for us in Jamaica, 10 to 20% chance for us across the Cayman Islands, but we will have some cooler nights. Let me know if you're feeling that in the comments. 30% chance of a shower in Trinidad and Tobago. I mentioned some of that rain in Guyana. There could be a shower passing by across Trinidad for us this weekend. 30-40% chance the next 2 days in Barbados. Just a 20% chance the next couple of days in St. Lucia. You see that rain chance is kind of low. Grenada, we're looking at a 30% chance tomorrow. 30% chance today, St. Vincent the Grenadines, but the weekend, we're mainly on the dry side. Martinique, rain chance the next 2 days at 20%. Could see a stray shower or two tomorrow into Sunday across Dominica. Rain chance just 10 to 20% as we work our way into Guadeloupe. And we're mainly dry in Antigua, Barbuda. I showed you that front, kind of the end of that front, how it is weakening. Could brush us by a shower. That would be at 20% chance, St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat. A 30% chance today with that front, though, in Anguilla and St. Bart's. But through the weekend, we're mainly on the dry side. The next couple of days, St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, rain chance only 20%, and a 20% chance through the weekend across Puerto Rico. Rain chance even lower than that. U.S. and British Virgin Islands, generally a lot of sunshine. Rain chance 10%, very low as well as we work our way across the Bahamas. Turks and Caicos, we're going to have a lot of sunshine. Generally the same thing. Dominican Republic, back through Haiti, we're mainly dry this weekend. Small chance of a couple sprinkles that may be around. Rain chance about 20% in Belize, so the rain chance has gone down, and a small chance with that easterly flow. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, but you see just a 10% chance of rain tomorrow. But as we work our way into Guyana, you see how it picks up a little bit. I showed you some of that rain by Sunday. We're looking at a 40% chance in our northern zones, even Suriname, that chance of some scattered showers as we go throughout the weekend. Cuba, we have some colder nights that will be ahead. 30 to 40% chance of rain, Costa Rica and Panama. The rain chance has gone down. A 30% chance for the next couple of days in Nicaragua. Just a 20% chance for the weekend across Honduras, and the rain chance next to nothing. Guatemala and El Salvador, 20 to 30% chance across Mexico City with that front moving in. 20 to 30% chance as well with that front across the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Northern Colombia, not a lot of action. About a 20% chance in northern Venezuela. But as we swing back toward Bermuda, that's where that rain chance gets higher, especially tomorrow with that storm system that will be moving across. So these cold fronts kind of scraping us by in the Caribbean, but that bigger one will start to build next week with that Arctic plunge of air, and I'll be tracking just how far south that gets. So the active January rolls on. I really hope you're doing well. Thank you for being part of this weather community, and have a really good day ahead.